Welcome everyone, and I'm Riley. I am new to kind of doing this kind of talk about stuff thing, so if I have problems getting out exactly what I'm trying to say, I hope that you'll let that go. And yeah, anyway, let's get to the video. Anyway, I wanted to talk about something that I think is very relevant at times like these when bad things are happening in the world, which is literally all the time. Currently, we have ISIS. We have the recent shooting where 9 people died in a church during a Bible study because some racist person decided that they wanted to kill a whole bunch of people, which is horrible. It's horrible that any of that had to happen. And at times like these, people are asking the question, how can a loving God let something like that happen? Because if he's loving, why would he let people suffer like that? And the answer has been something that I've always had in my mind for a long time, but a lot of people struggle to find the answer to. And what it is for me is that back in the Garden of Eden, God had a perfect world. He made a perfect world for Adam and Eve. They lived with him, and he would literally walk in the garden with him. And they would live with him, and it was a perfect world. There was no sin. But the second that they took the apple and went against him and ate it, they did something that he specifically said not to do, and they sinned. And from then on, we lived in an evil world. We lived in a sinful world because there was sin in it. And ever since then, it hasn't been God's domain anymore. It has been his creation, but no longer his domain. See, going to the Mount, if we look at the verse in, I think it was, here, I'm just trying to find it here. I want to back up what I'm saying here. Matthew 4, verse 8 and 9. Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. All this I will give to you, he said, if you will bow down and worship me. Now, how could the devil offer earth to the Son of God? Didn't God make the earth? Wouldn't it already be his? Well, the thing is, since we live in a sinful world, since this is a sinful world, it is Satan's domain because he is sin. He is the embodiment of sin. And because of that, we live in a sinful world that he has control over. God has let him have control over this world because it's sinful. And the thing is, we have freedom of choice. We can choose to sin or not. Now, this goes into other things like whether we can possibly choose not to sin completely. We're all sinful creatures, and at least in my opinion, we will all sin, which means we're sinful beings, and no matter how much we do good, we will always be sinful, which is why God needed to save us, but that's getting off topic. But anyway, why God would let bad things happen if he was a loving God? The thing is, we live in a sinful world that is controlled by Satan, and Satan will let bad things happen. Why won't God stop these things, especially for like Christians? The thing is, God says, or I think it was Paul who said this. I'm currently going to 2 Timothy, so I think it was Timothy. 2 Timothy verse 12, in fact, everyone who wants to live a godly life in Christ Jesus will be persecuted. It says everyone who wants to live a godly life in Christ Jesus will be persecuted. It doesn't say everyone. It says everyone who wants to live a godly life. That means it calls Christians to a higher standard. It says that they will live a harder life than the average person. It doesn't mean that you will live an easier life because you're a Christian. Don't get that in your head. A Christian life will be harder, and you'll be persecuted for it, and it's something you have to stand for, which is why you will have trials in your life. Those trials will make you a better person in the end, but they will be trials. There'll be bad things that happen in life, and a lot of the time we won't know exactly why they happened. But in general, we live in a sinful world where God is watching over us because we are his creation. He loves us. That's why he died on the cross for us. But the thing is, he's not going to stop all the bad things that happen because this world isn't the final world in the first place. We are going to be going to heaven. That is the important one. But the thing is, this world is Satan's, and he has control over it, and it's his domain. And God can't step in for everything because what's the point in God if this world's perfect? This world isn't perfect. It's sinful. So what's the point in God if we live in a perfect world? We don't live in a perfect world. The perfect world is heaven, and that's why we need God. This life right here is us choosing God. I think of this as earth as not purgatory, waiting room. It's the waiting room of basically choosing where you want to go. Do you want to live a Christian life and follow God, or do you want to do what you want? Because doing whatever you want is basically choosing the easy road, the high road. But choosing the road for God is a harder road. It's one that you have to live and make a life out of. It is your lifestyle that you have to live. It's not just a lifestyle. It's not just things. It's choosing God. You choose which way you want to go. And while you're here, bad things are going to happen because you live in a sinful world. That's at least my take on it. And I tried to get all my thoughts out here. I'm new at this, so hopefully you can take it for what it is. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to hear some debate in the comments if anybody watches this. So thanks for watching. My name's Riley, and hopefully I'll see you later. But anyway, guys, that's the video. That's my thoughts. I guess with this channel, it was just a thought. Thanks for watching.